Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 4 World Cup 2026. Match after match, we are still live on the main channel, and we are back with quite actually an interesting match at the very least because it is the last one of the Group G. A decider, unfortunately, for the third place in this group, but still something to witness a match between India and Sweden. Unfortunately, still both of the teams are going to be eliminated after the fact in the group stage, as you can see on the graphics here, but you know, it is how it is. We are still going to be excited to see some incredible performances, possibly from both the teams. As for who will be covering this match, of course, it will be me, Tommy1, joined today by the lovely Mavosik. How are you doing, man?
Hello there, doing pretty great, as you said. This match unfortunately not gonna be that important when it comes to the group standings here. It's only gonna decide the third place, but Sweden definitely looking to prove themselves to be the highest seed in this group, at least with this match, because their performance has not been ideal throughout this tournament. India being the lowest seed, unfortunately, showing that they are the lowest seed in this group. 5-1 falling short to Japan, 5-0 to New Zealand. On the other side, Sweden losing 5-2 to Japan, 5-3 to New Zealand, so also not the greatest performance there. And we see the rolls, picks and bans happening. We have seen a roll of 100 coming from India, which is pretty cool. But with that said, we already see some bans on the board with DT2 and Ferimo3 coming from Sweden, HR3 from India, and I believe we are waiting for the last ban coming from India.
It's actually quite interesting. I mean, of course, DT2 ban is quite expected from Sweden, right? Because, well, they are not really feeling great on that speed aspect of the spool that we are going to be seeing today, but you know, Fremont 2 is Fremont 3, apologies, is a little bit more amusing for me, right? Because I do believe it is a bit more of an accessible map, right? One way or another. So, considering that India is just a little bit more confident on some of those, I guess I would say tech picks, right? Sometimes even something like DT1, right? It is still a little bit, I guess, unexpected, at least for me, as a second ban coming from Sweden. But on the other hand, Harder 3 from India getting it out of the board just makes sense, right? Sweden is just such a powerhouse on those hard rocks mechanics, and that is why you just have to respect it.
And with that said, second ban from India is gonna be on that HR pool as well, with HR1 ban, which can make sense. As you said, Sweden is a huge powerhouse when it comes to HR, so those two bans definitely do make sense. HR2 still left open for them to potentially look into somewhat, at least on paper, a 3-point could be. And it's their first pick, but they still have a lot to pick from. On paper, really, Sweden should be better on very much everything outside of the tapping that they banned out. Maybe that Nomad 2 could be an option for India, picking into Jashin, but not necessarily a pick that should be on their side. And yeah, as we mentioned, HR1 overall seed number 3 for Team Sweden, so that ban does make complete sense. They were lacking a bit on that HR2 with seed 36 overall, but outside of that, not much else to say. And we see the first pick in, and that's gonna be Ferimo 2, so the map coming back from 2009 is gonna be the first pick of this matchup, and that's a pretty interesting one, I must say.
Yeah, a lovely map. You always love to see it. Just a pure anti-mod, right? As mentioned in the map showcase a few weeks now ago. It is a bit of a map that is going to be quite nice for some of the teams that are able to produce some easy players, but I'm not really sure if we are going to be seeing any easies from any of the teams, at least today. But yeah, still going to be really fun to enjoy, especially after the 3-3 that we had seen one from Sweden, why they are still going to be feeling that much confident on the 3-2 right now.
I mean, looking at the previous matches, we do potentially see an easy party actually, with India against New Zealand pulling off 3 easies on Mecha, Master and Arturia, with Smudgy on HR. On the side of Sweden, we've seen twice now Mr. Niesel and Lightning Fox on easy, with Ran Yakumo on HR and Heat Slash on no mod. So if we see all those players on easy, we might have a pretty interesting map one to watch, to be fair.
Yeah, sounds exciting if it is the truth, but I guess we would have to wait and see just a little bit more, especially as we are going to be finally seeing some of those players finally in the lobby. Arturia, My Angel, Master 1290, Kiaru and Mecha facing off for India in the first map of this matchup against Sweden's Hard Slash, Ran Yakumo, Lightning Fox and Mr. Niesel. Honestly, again, such a great roster. They are able to show up and perform when they are needed the most, but unfortunately just in this year, in this 4WC, it was not really the case for them, at least for now, but it is still at least one more match, one more opportunity to get that much needed win, at least one in the group stage, and here we go finally with the first map of this matchup.
We do see a bit of a switch up in India's roster, with Kiaru coming in instead of Samaji on that HR, and Arturia, My Angel, going with no mod instead of easy. But outside of that, we do see quite a bit of happening on the board. Overmod for Sweden with Heat Slash now on hidden instead of no mod, Ran Yakumo on HR, and Niesel with Lightning Fox on those easies. Easy on Mecha with Master, Kiaru with HR and all Arturia, as I mentioned. And starting off, slightest accuracy lead in favor of India early into the map, but that will not matter too much as the map is just starting.
Yeah, I mean, at least for now, especially with basically 2 easies versus 2 easies on board, it is just working off nicely for both the teams, but we are going to be seeing a first mistake of this matchup. Ran Yakumo finding a break right before the actual, a bit of a slowdown, I guess, right? A bit more of a slow amount of combo, but it is still on HR, it is more expected than on any other mod that we are going to be seeing more mistakes there. So as we are going to be finally getting a trade from the other side, it is going to be colliding quite nicely, especially considering that Mecha is the one that is playing with easy for the team India. The 2x multiplier is something that is a double-edged sword. So if we are going to be seeing any more big misses from their side, it might just not work out for them.
Ooh, Heat Slash though finding a miss on this back and forth pattern and these bursts and streams, catching a lot of people off guard actually, with Ran Yakumo down on that HR, as well as Arturia, My Angel. Outside of that though, we see 2 FCs against 2 FCs, Heat Slash finding yet another miss on that hidden, not having too much fun on this section of the map. And that will give the slightest lead to Team India by about 50,000 points, but if we see a drop coming from their side, it will very much just shift back to the 2 FCs on easy. On Sweden's side, Lightning Fox and Mr. Niesel holding incredibly well with the 99% accuracy. Heat Slash finding a miss, trading that with Kiaru. So there goes one big combo of India down. Mecha with that 300 combo, 400 combo recovery, trying to fight back, but the score is slowly but surely shifting, especially with Master finding a miss on that easy as well, and that's gonna shift the score to Team Sweden right about now. 1/8 of the map left though, so if there comes a break from Sweden's side, especially on Niesel or Lightning Fox, it can still get interesting, but they do seem to hold pretty comfortably, which is giving them more and more lead now. The further into the map we get, 1/8, as I said, is the only bit of the map left, and 200k score is something that is dividing Team Sweden from Team India. And Team Sweden, with how much they have built up, how much combo they are holding throughout this ending of the map, is gonna secure the last point. Unfortunate break coming in from Lightning Fox, but as this last burst comes in, it's no doubt that Sweden is taking their first point. 1-0, nothing too big happening just yet on this pick from Team Sweden, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was, but, well, what can I say? It is just pretty much the difference in the easy players on both the teams, right? As Team India did find some those unfortunate breaks, especially from the mecha. I believe only one nomad that actually 10 misses, but still, basically pretty much in a row on that easy multiplier. While Team Sweden was basically holding double FC on those easy players until the very end, but well. It is how it is. It is just a great starting pick for Sweden, just finally trying to get a win, I guess, right? They should be motivated, especially after the COE has ended. Maybe some of those players just a little bit more accessible, right? A little bit more able to practice and get some of those performances on board to show up for the seeding, right? That they were able to get to show that it was no mistake, no occurrence, right? But, well, for now it is but a start, right? And they need to continue that into the rest of this matchup. But at least for now, the good news for India is that they are going to be the ones to take the next pick. And right now, I'm not really sure what we are going to be seeing here now, Mavosik.
Yeah, India could have a bit of tough time to pick here, as Sweden is on paper the better roster, the better team through qualifiers on. We have seen India, their only point against Japan and only point overall was on HR2 that they left unbanned, but let's be real here, I don't think we see India picking HR against Sweden, and instead we are heading into Don't Believe in the custom map by AJ Muska. No more 3 snap hold pick, and this map is quite interesting. It starts off, well, you could say it, call it slowly, but we have seen a lot of stuff, a lot of misses happening on those early sections of the map, that the further you get into the map, the harder it gets and the more, you could call it cursed it gets, as some of these patterns are just not hittable for most of the players playing this tournament from what we have seen, so will be an interesting one to see how it goes. You're definitely relying more on that early combo you build up than the late combo comebacks, the late combo god mode, so definitely hit or miss from India. If they can hit those early combos and if they can hold some good scores, it is definitely a chance for them to score against Sweden, but the question is how comfortable Sweden is on this. We did not see this map get played in any of Sweden matches actually, and we did see India play this against Japan, unfortunately losing, but it was Japan whose roster is pretty strong. We have seen India on about 1.8 million team score and they only lost by about 18,000 points to Japan, so definitely an interesting choice here, definitely looking to score something on the board as we start to get players in the lobby. Also Master and Artoria in for India with Nizel and Lightning Fox in for Sweden. No changes just yet on either of the sides.
If we are going to be looking at the qualifiers results, for example, right, it would just make sense why India is picking this map, right? It is one of the few, or one of the only type of maps, type of skill sets that India was able to outperform in the qualifiers against Sweden. I believe only by a marginal error, right? That around 50k to 100k score difference, but still it is at a win, right, in the books, and that is might be a reason why they are still going to be trying to get an up at first point on board for them on this type of map. So yeah, again, just a very ulti, very snappy type of map is going to be an interesting challenge, right, for both the teams, especially considering that they are still in the last match of the group stage, and considering all the times that they had to prepare. It's going to be a big consistency battle one way or another, but as we are going to be finally starting the intro, the opening is going to be opening up at the very least with the accuracy advantage towards one of the sides.
Yeah, starting off this Nomo 3, not the greatest start for India, with Serbian Pizza finding the first miss of Team India. And we actually see a switch compared to the match against Japan on India's side, with Osu Master going in instead of Smudgy, and looking at stuff, Smudgy is actually not here for the match at all, so a slight tiny problems for India on the core side, on the core roster side, I'd say. As Machi did play quite a bit of maps, but we see a lot of misses coming on the board from Rania Kumo, Lightning Fox, Nexus Gamer, Osu Master, Altoria, Serial Pizza, and Niesel. So it's only one FC, no more, as Rania Kumo does find a miss again, and Sweden actually down a combo with Smeka holding the best score in the lobby and the only combo in the lobby, with Lightning Fox finding the miss for Sweden's side as well, as the score will not start shifting as we see a full reset on the board favoring Sweden in the slightest, as Mr. Niesel is the only one holding any sort of combo with that 200 recovery, 99%, and the accuracy is definitely helping Team Sweden here quite a bit. 85,000 points in favor of Team Sweden here. Still not lost for India, but no one seems to be able to hold any combo. Lightning Fox finding a miss as well again, 100,000 points, and now going down as India is catching up onto some combo advantage together with next gamer miss. It's a question of how much Mr. Niesel can hold. We see also Master and Serial Pizza finding misses together with Nexus and Rania Kumo, but full reset from India on these slider sections is gonna be costly, and 1/3 of the map, 100,000 points in favor of Team Sweden. Combo on Mr. Niesel and no combo India is gonna be troublesome.
That is not just a combo advantage right now coming in from Mr. Niesel, it is accuracy as well. From 99%, just holding it down, 400 for all the map, basically only leaving, finally might finding the mistake in the last quarter of this map. It is just going to be more than enough to steal a cement, a second point for the season and a break point, first break and also this matchup. Incredible showing so far from Mr. Niesel, pretty much just carrying the team on his back, at least on this point, and much needed at that, because after this map, after this breakpoint, there is not going to be a lot of ideas left for India. There is just not going to be a lot of places to go for them, and it is time to just get into their head if you are a Team Sweden.
Yeah, definitely a good point for Team Sweden. 200k, not the most comfortable one, but it was a breakpoint, so you don't really expect like 800,000 point or any huge lead over the other team on their own pick. But yeah, India, definitely a good shot there, definitely a good effort. Unfortunately, the support from Osu Master and maybe some overall support from Smeka, Serial Beats and Artoria, as they did not really have that big of a standout score, was the difference maker for this map. And now Sweden next to pick, and again, on paper, they have a lot to pick from. That HR2 could be a bit of a 50-50, as India did perform pretty well on it, and we will be heading into the gimmicky written map, that being Nomad 5, AR 7.5, from what we have seen, this map, even though being the Nomad 5 slot, which is usually the more uncomfortable one, not counting the accuracy, as this map is one of the actually easier ones in this map pool. It is maybe a bit harder to hack, but the combo throughout matches is pretty nice on it, when we see overall around 500k average score from players on this map. So it will be interesting to see if we see that as well, or see something different. We have seen Nomad 5 played and picked by Sweden against Japan. Outside of that, we don't have any other stats on it, as New Zealand did ban it against India, and then India banned it against Japan. So India not able to play this map just yet. On the other side, New Zealand did ban this against Sweden as well. So the only time this was played in this matchup was Sweden against Japan, with Sweden losing it. But again, even though it sounds like one of the harder maps in this map pool, it is going to be one of the easier maps throughout the tournament, throughout this group stage. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. But yeah, outside of Team Sweden, they pulled off a 1.3 million team score. Interesting choice to opt into this with that kind of team score, but maybe they know something we don't know and are going after their third point.
well, at the very least, it's going to be very interesting to see what are going to be the performances here, right? Because as you mentioned, it is a map that is a bit more accessible, right? One way or another to other players. Maybe not in the actual accuracy department, right? But it is a score V2, so I mean, we can see quite easily something like 700k, 80% accuracy FCs, right? It is possible, it might happen, but the question is if they are going to be able, if they're going to be basically gambling on this type of outcome, right? Because if you're going to be able to get some of the accuracies together with a combo, you're going to be building quite a heavy lead if you're able to close it down, at least for your team. But well, it is still going to be a challenge, right? There is a reason why it is still a map that is present in the group stage of the 4WC, and we are going to be seeing the reason why immediately, as right now we can already just see the difference in the accuracy even at the very start of this map. Just look at that performance, right? We already seen 84-85% accuracy from Queen T from the side India, while Team Sweden's lowest so far is 88 from Hard Slash, while others are still sitting at the mid to high 90s%.
Yeah, accuracy lead on Sweden is definitely giving them the slightest lead, and the combo breaks from Master and Clarinetta, Clarity, is definitely helping Sweden as well. Heat Slash does find the trade, but it's still 3 FCs against 2 FCs, and the accuracy is heavily on the side of Team Sweden with a 120,000 point lead now. 5 combo in. Clarity is and finding yet another break on the board for Team India with that 82%. And Mr. Niesel could make things a bit interesting with mid of the round, so there's only 2 FCs on Team Sweden. There's 2 FCs on Team India, but the accuracy on Team Sweden is still holding them in favor and holding them heavily on that right side. But if we see a miss coming in from one of those FCs, and Lightning Fox is not happy with that break, stuff might get interesting with 2 FCs against 1 FC, and the support now being better on side of Team India will start shifting the score towards India, the side of Team India. There's about 1/3 of the map left, so as long as they hold all their combos intact, they can shift it back, but Smeka does find the miss as well. Now it's 1 FC against 1 FC, the support is still favoring India in the slightest, but the accuracy is not, and that will make the score shift more to the side of Team Sweden. Claire finding yet another miss together with Smeka. That will put the last nail to the coffin as Team India, even though they are still holding one of those FCs, are getting matched by Soik, and the accuracy is not in their favor. The score lead is not in their favor. Also Master finds the miss. This is gonna be the 3rd point for Team Sweden, improving incredibly on this Humboldt 5, 1.3 million against Japan, now 2.3 million almost against Team India. That's an improvement and a half.
Yeah, I mean, wow. You can already see that it just wasn't really close, unfortunately, for Team India. But still, looking at the actual scores on board, it's not like it was incredibly nice performances, right, from any of the sides. The only FC I believe on board is there's only 2, that is from Soik with 92% accuracy from Sweden, and Artoria My Angel coming in as a clutch for Team India, getting an FC as well, but at the lower accuracies of 89, which is just showing that even if you're able to get those FCs on board, they might be worth enough even with the lower accuracy than you might think about. And if all the India was just able to focus on getting the combo on board, that things might have been a bit of a change in a direction, getting into the other side. And well, it is just a thought that India might think about in the future, as for now, it is a second, I believe, breakpoint, and what is even not a second breakpoint, apologies, still 2 wins, 3 wins even for Sweden, and well, just a great match for them, right? Looking forward to that 4th.
Yeah, Sweden finally showing why they are the highest seed of this group. But unfortunately, it just comes a bit too late for them, as this match will not really push them up to the top 2 anymore. And we are waiting for the next pick from India, as there is some excessive rolling happening in the chat right now from Team Sweden players. But that does not matter at all, as we are still waiting for the call from India. That's gonna be no mod for heading into one of the more interesting maps in this map pool. Interesting by the means of it being more on that technical side, a lot of sliders, a lot of slider tech. There are some mech tech bits here and there in this map, but it's mostly that slider tech we are looking for. With that said, this map is interesting in one more aspect, and that's the way this map has been made, as it is original by Cryochem and Sugasugi, mapped by Kairi and Netnesanya. So thank you to all 4 of these people for creating this amazing bit of a map, this piece of art almost with Astral Tether, and we are excited to see how this Nomad 4 goes for both teams.
Yeah, finally we are going to be seeing at first regional for the 4WC, and I cannot be excited more for this map, right? Because one way or another, I think this is a bit of a more of a throw up, right? A bit more of a coin flip between those two teams, right? Because even while overall we did see that India is not really performing that well, or maybe that consistently on the Nomad 4, right, on the tech aspects, I do still think they have at least a great bit of potential to actually get a great score once in a while. And if you are certain, it might not be what you really want to gamble on, especially if you still have HD2 on the table that you can tap into at any point of this match. But hey, Nomad 4, I cannot be mad about this pick, right? It is just something fun, something exciting to actually finally see on this table, and well, let's see if we are going to be actually seeing some of those great performances that I mentioned previously, at least as a potential, especially considering that, again, map is a bit on the shorter side, if I'm not mistaken, sitting around 2 minutes 25 seconds of drain time, right? And with the overall feel nice, very flowy, just generally very intuitive mapping, right? I feel like it might just be an enjoyable experience for the players as well.
That could definitely be the case, as we see our 8 players in the lobby and starting very much instantly after everyone is in. Raniakum and Mr. Niesel, Nexus, and Unseen for Sweden with Artoria, Smeka, Kiaru, and Surya Pizza for Team India. Starting off this original Nomad 4 for this 4WC 2026 group stage. Starting off right about now, just as Bancho decides to load us in. Here we go. The first spinner is there, and off we go. Nomad 4 Astral Tether starting just about now.
Oh, and as we can see, we can already just enjoy the song that is playing in our headphones right now. A great beat. Again, I'll give a shout out to the Cryocam and Sugasui that have created this piece originally for 3WC, but we are seeing it now as we are already in the first KI, and we see the first mistake coming in from the team on the left. In India is going down with Artoria, but it is finally getting traded by Ran Yakuma, and I'm not seeing a late trade again coming in from Smeka, but still the overall performance is still a little bit better for the Sweden, as the 75k score difference is still set in stone.
That 75k score difference coming mainly from the accuracy on Kiaru, with 93 being a bit down than everyone else in the lobby, and that is a crucial FC for India. Still, no matter the accuracy, if that FC does not hold, it will be really difficult for India to shift this back. But so far, the score is going to the side of Team Sweden excessively, with Ranyakumo and Unseen finding those misses, but that's traded by Surya Pizza, and now there's only one FC on India. The supports of our Artery and Mecha are definitely helping them slow down the shifting a little bit, but as long as Nexus with Niesel can hold on to the 99.10, both players on the same accuracy, same score, same everything, it's gonna be difficult for India to shift it back. So far, we see some 100 coming from Niesel, but a miss coming in from Smeka. So that's definitely not gonna help India whatsoever. That support being down, but Niesel now down at FC. Sweden looking for a glory, for a good run of Nexus on that last FC. The score is still not shifting too much, but Nexus goes down as well, and there goes last FC for Team Sweden. There's not too much time left, but there's not too much score to shift. 100,000 points in favor of Team Sweden, but that's going out instantaneously as Team India is holding on to some nice scores. Kier goes down, Serio Peter goes down, and Atoria goes down. The two big combos, the three big combos holding India shifting on their side are down. It's only Smeka with 400 combo, and Smeka putting the last nail to the coffin on this no mod for India. Was so close on the comeback, but unfortunately for them, finding a 4-way reset when it mattered the most. Sweden taking their 4th point on this no mod 4. What a close map.
Wow, a hair of a difference. That's just one less slider break from Kiori, three more less misses from Artoria would have been the difference, would have been the reason why India finally getting the first point on board against Sweden, but unfortunately it is not meant to be, and Sweden will be still taking the second, still getting another point towards the side, with getting the lead to an abominable 4-0 against India. And as they are now in a match point, there is still one more map that they are going to be absolutely comfortable on, the one that they are going to be probably choosing, and that, in my opinion, should be the hidden 2 that's still on the table, but we might see some surprises for sure.
Yeah, definitely not the best position for India to be in, especially with Sweden picking next. And again, looking at how this match is going for them, they have basically the whole pool to pick from. HR2 is still open, which is probably like the most 50-50 map of this pool, together with like the normal 1 hidden, 1 DT1. And we see one of those coin flip maps actually, with hidden 1 picked by Sweden, looking to finish off their run in this 4WC with a sweep on Damp Damp. And this being the second longest map of this map pool, not counting the tiebreaker, first one being Jashin on 5 minutes of drain time. This hidden 1 having that 4.5 juicy minutes of drain time. So we will see India play for at least 4.5 minutes. And same for Sweden actually, as no matter how this match goes, they are unfortunately both out of this tournament after this. But again, we still have 4.5 minutes of drain time left before that happens, at least, unless India pulls off a breakpoint upset and potentially get this match to a TB. It's not impossible, it's difficult though, so don't get too high hopes for that happening. This match, this map, you're pretty much standard awkward aim, hidden 1 with some ugly sliders here and there, with a jump scare section right at the beginning of the map that lasts for like 15 seconds. Then it slows down a bit, and then you just wait for those later key eyes to ramp up again, as this map is really about that early combo you can build up, and then if you can maybe hold it through the last hard key eyes of this map, well, will be an interesting one to see as we wait for the players to ready up and get in the lobby. Any words from you, Tommy?
What can I say? It is pretty much just the last chance right now for India to get a point, a last point for them in the 4WC of 2026, but well, it will take a miracle for sure for them to get it, right? Because as I mentioned before, I believe they are not very confident on the aim department, right? In this 4WC, they are not just able to be consistent enough, and considering that we are slapping hidden on top of it, it might just not be a great, I guess, time for India, right? Especially considering that they are facing off against such a powerhouse as Sweden. But well, it is how it is. It is the chosen map from Sweden, and they have to get through it if they want to get, after all, another chance, another map to play. But it is all in their hands, as the map is going to be starting in just a few moments. The intro is coming upon us, and a great map, a great song is soon to be appearing.
Yes, indeed. Starting off this hidden one slowly but surely. We see the faster part at the beginning of the map. No one really finding a break on the side of Team India. On the side of Sweden though, I believe we have seen one on Ranyakumo pretty early into the map. Outside of that, there's nothing happening. Ranyakumo finding another miss, giving the slightest early lead to Team India, but this map being 4.5 minutes long, even though it's 200 combo deficit for Team Sweden, it's not gonna matter too much as the accuracy on their side is gonna drag the score to them and back to India because of the combo. It's just gonna go back and forth until we see any big misses happening. Soik for Team Sweden finding another miss, which is gonna give the lead to India's side a bit more comfortably, around 20,000 points. Still not too much, but they can build up of it. Not anymore, as they trade those 2 misses with 2 misses of their own on Serial Pizza and Hosu Master. Soik does find a trade, but now the support build up from Ranyakumo with the 300 combo is gonna start shifting the score to Team Sweden's side, slowly but surely, as the map still not hitting its hardest part, still being pretty comfortable, being fairly slow on the Amy side. Still waiting to draw some more misses. Soik and Serial Pizza trading again. The score still on India's side, but slowly but surely is gonna move to Team Sweden's side, as they are still holding the better accuracy on their side.
Would not be so sure about the exact accuracy, because the 2 FCs that are still holding from India are still actually going kind of crazy, 98 and 298% accuracy from them, while Sweden's FCs are just a little bit under. That is the reason why score difference right now is not going out towards the team on the right way too fast, even with some traders coming in from Nexus Gamer and also Master. It just seems like the accuracy game is really just showing up right now for India, as we are still seeing the score difference going towards their side, even with some of the combo getting traded bit by bit, and we are getting towards the second half of this map a bit finally. But oh my god, seems like Sweden is actually getting destroyed right now. A lot of misses. The only one FC still standing is Mr. Nizel, but as he is still facing off against Mecha and Artoria, it is not looking great for them. But the possibility is of course still present as well. There is still a lot of the map to go through, and the misses are going to be coming surely, especially as well, though Aspart is going to be the biggest one, especially on the nodes, as if you are a Team India, you know that you are still holding that accuracy, holding that FC, you are the reason why your team is still holding nodes. Mecha going down right before the KI section, it is only going to be traded by Ranyakumo, but also Master, Nexus Gamer, Serpice and Astoria just blowing up all together, while Mr. Nizel is the only one that is still holding down the foot on the gas, and right now is still holding that combo for his team, for Team Sweden. He's going to be the reason for them to win if he's able to hold, but that is not going to be the case. The combo is going down, and the 70k score difference is still cemented to the side of India.
Yeah, with that break from Nizel, a full reset on the board, definitely favoring Team India here, especially with Soik and Nizel finding more and more misses on the board. Gets traded by Master, but we see 3 pretty nice combos on India's side, showing their hidden capabilities. Mecha, unfortunate misses on that Cape, but it was pretty difficult to hit, and we only see Mr. Nizel hit any of those slider aim jumps. Artoria now with Serial Pizza and Mecha holding on to that lead for Team India, looking into their first point, but also Master together with Mecha do find those misses. It gets traded by Soik and Ranyakumo, so it's only Nizel and Nexus Gamer with combo on Team Sweden, which is slightly lower than combo on Team India side. And now, as we had the slow part of this map, the slow ending of this map, it's gonna be the first point for Team India. This match is not gonna end in a sweep, and India is gonna get at least 1 more point on the board, which is gonna be a break point as well with this hidden 1 pick from Sweden. And as I said, it is more of that coin flip map on this SR. It did indeed land on tails for Sweden, and India is gonna grab the first point of their own, maybe shifting some momentum to their side, maybe looking into picking up another point with their own pick. And, you know, I said that the tiebreaker comeback is improbable. It's not impossible. It's gonna be difficult still, but you know, this is the first stepping stone for that, and maybe we can see a huge upset pull off from India. But again, don't give yourself too high of hopes just yet, as they still need to win 3 more picks to enforce the tiebreaker at least.
But still, what a great place to get the first point on, right, for India. Right after the match point, just getting into that HD1 that they are not favored on, getting through the aim, getting through the consistency, and just outlasting Sweden, right? Even if they had some chances, Mr. Nizo was on the verge of attack, but unfortunately for them, it did not work out, as we are going to be seeing finally another pick from India, and the first one that is going to be a bit of a flip, right? Because there is not a lot of maps that they're going to be feeling confident on, right? Even considering that they were able to show up on that aim department. I'm not so sure they want to go towards that Nomad 1, for example, right? Because, well, the weakness is still present, right? And number 1 is the type of map that is going to be exploited even more so, especially considering that it is a bit of an older map, right? A bit of a classic coming in from 2015. It is quite simple, right? Even with some of that nostalgia build type of mapping, it is still a bit of a high BPM and a lot of aim that you have to get through. Is not quite typical to what you see in modern days, so that is not going to be the pick for Team India, as we are going to be seeing the hidden 3, the unlikely pretender, getting in on the board.
Yeah, hidden 3 is an interesting choice here. A bit on the Nomo 3 ulti side, but at the same time, Nomo 3 more of the snap ult kind of map. This one more on the flowy side with 165 BPM, mostly flow with some sliders here and there. On top of that hidden one did come in clutch for Team India as their first point there, first breakpoint as well, so maybe that could give them some sort of motivation to pick into another hidden pick. This hidden 3 definitely quite the different map compared to what we have seen on Hidden 1, and looking at what's happening in chat on rolling 99. The Swedish team is getting hit by some certain stuff. And okay, Unseen, I see what you did there. 299 rolls. Great job. Can we ready up team though?
The truest question has been asked, but yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be interested to see what is going to be the performance, right, from both the teams, simply because, again, India is warming up, it seems, right, in this matchup. The later we get, the closer the maps become, right, the more interesting matchups we are seeing, and finally, after the first break point, I believe, right, for India, it is time to continue that momentum, try to get to catch the wave and ride it to the victory, possibly, but they still have to make a second step after the first one. That should be a day 1, not 1 day of the progression, and Hidden 3 is going to be the map to get through it. I'm not really sure what kind of performance we can really expect from both the teams, right? Because again, the potential is here, but the consistency sometimes just giving up on both the teams. So it is definitely going to be an interesting match to see, especially considering the map that has been an original, I believe, for China 1 2025.
Yeah, definitely an interesting map here and there, a bit on the shorter side with that 2 minutes on drain time. And even though it's on the lower SR, that 9.8 AR might make things a bit more comfortable for players that are not that comfortable on Hidden. So definitely a map when it comes to stats, pretty comfortable overall. When it comes to gameplay, it does not really start until the last sections of the map. It's again one of those where your early combo could decide how the map goes, with the ending being pretty brutal. Nexus Gamer finding the first miss for Team Sweden. that's what India definitely wants to see, especially this early into the map. 1-4 but Mecca does find a trade with quite a bit of 100. It's not the cleanest miss there compared to Nexus miss. That will start shifting the score to Sweden's side, especially with Niesel finding a trade with Surya Pizza and Arturia. So it's only Osu Master, not anymore. Full reset for Team India, and how well it looked for them. That badly it is going with this 4-way reset. Sweden finding a miss on Ranyakumo, so there's only one FC on Heat Clash. But that support from Nexus Gamer and Mr. Niesel is definitely doing them wonders now with that 130,000 point score lead and growing as Osumaster finds the win with Ranyakumo. India not finding anything too huge, not finding anything to hold on to, even though Heat Slash and Niesel finding a misses. There's only Nexus on combo for Sweden, which will give a lead back to India, and the score is gonna start shifting. Artoria unfortunately finding miss, gonna slow down that shifting, but it's still going. 50k, 40k, Serbia Pizza finds the miss as well for Team India. Heat Slash that's traded together with Mecca now, and it's only also Master on combo for Team India, giving the Sweden the shifting power back, and it's so late into the map. If we don't see a miss coming in from Ranyaku or Nexus or someone from Team Sweden, this will be the last map of this tournament for both of the teams. Also Master finding some combo, Ranyakumo just at the end of the map finding the miss. Team India needed a bit before, and with that said, that's gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. Sweden not going off with a 3-0, finding at least a 1 victory point against the lower seeded India of this group, showing that they are still capable to play the game, pulling off some decent score, pulling off some questionable scores really, considering their seed, some really close maps here and there. So India definitely a good performance, good attempt to fight back this Team Sweden, but Team Sweden being the seed 26, being the highest seed of this group, showing why they are the highest seed of this group.
Yeah, I mean, still, what a journey so far for both Sweden and India. Finally finish off the stage of the 4WC, and possibly moving on in the future where they might just become even a better threat. But for now, it is still going to be the end of the road for them, and honestly, I still have to mention and give a big shout out to both of the teams, because they were able to get some incredible performances still on board. But for now, we still have to close down, because we are going to be hopping from match to match. That is a packed week today, a packed weekend, as right in a few moments, just in 10 minutes, we are going to be seeing 2 matches coming up. Vietnam versus Russian Federation, I believe on the main channel, if I'm not mistaken, might be on the B channel, and the second match that will be the Italy versus Saudi Arabia, a fight between the leaders of the groups, looking to figure out who is going to be coming out on top. But for now, I believe it is going to be the end from us. Maybe you have some words, Mawasik?
Well, I would add on top of that cluster you said, we actually have 3 matches running at the same time, with Austria, Finland also happening. So all 3 channels will be busy with matches really shortly, so don't go away. But outside of that, not much else to say other than thanks to our sponsors. You could have seen cycling at the bottom of the screen during the match. And if you did not yet, then feel free to join the giveaway happening on the Project Hexagon Twitter right now, as you can win some pretty interesting prizes here and there. But yeah, with that said, GG's VP to the last match of this group, Sweden-India. We will be saying goodbye to both, but it was an interesting performance. But yeah, with that said, see you in about 10 minutes with one of the 3 matches, whatever you decide to watch, maybe all 3 at once. And goodbye for now.
Buy some slider pulse and goodbye.